And away we go. It is the nightcap. Brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Go to the website. They will get you taken care of. All of that galactic goodness needs. You will find it there. Or you can head down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off your first order. And more importantly, right now, they are in the mix. The City Beat Awards are up. Go to citybeat.com and get your votes in to make Galactic Fried Chicken the #1 chicken in the city of Cincinnati. All right, let's get this going. Hi, Aaron.
Yo.
Just got back from the coach's show. Had a good time tonight. Got to catch Wes and my guy Josh Reed. Just an outstanding line, an exchange from Terry and Josh tonight. Josh talking about how the topic of him golfing came up, and Terry said, "How'd you pick up golf?" And Josh said, "Well, that's all my friends, all my high school friends played golf." And Terry was like, "Where the hell did you go to high school that all your high school friends played golf?" And Josh's like, "Well, I went to a private school in Atlanta." Terry's like, oh, a place where you pronounce your T's and you say shrimp instead of scrimp.
Terry's wild.
I was standing with Stu and Chelsea and like literally almost doubled over at that entire exchange. It was outstanding.
Terry was probably one of the few people in the room who could actually say that to him as well.
Right. Like it was really, really
Terry being he's good for one of those about every broadcast at this point. I feel like he had just something that was just outlandish that only Terry's really getting away with saying.
It was great. Josh's face turned about as bright red as it could turn.
Like the Cincy jerseys?
Yeah. It was funny. All right, let's get to it. We will it's Thursday night, Big 12 Thursdays. We take a look at what happened Tuesday and Wednesday, and then another just loaded slate coming up on Saturday. Start off with Tuesday. Kansas spanks Oklahoma State 90-66. Kevin McCullough leads the way for Kansas with 18. Pretty balanced attack for Kansas on their way to 90. And Oklahoma State is just not good. They're struggling right now.
And the crazy thing is, I feel like that first Saturday that all of the Big 12 games were on, Oklahoma State was one of my favorite teams to watch. They're
really young.
And they play a style that I really enjoy, which is more like run and gun, not all the threes and all that, but not really working out for them right now.
No, they're just not grown enough. Like, it's really hard if you're going to do a youth movement. This is not the league to do it in. There are teams like just loaded of grown ass men throughout this league, so they're in a tough spot. Baylor falls on the road at Kansas State in overtime, 68-64. Kansas State, one of the teams sitting atop the conference now at 3-1, and they are.
I've lost your audio.
How about that? Is that better?
There you go. Yes.
I'm on the ESPN men's scoreboard, and of course, a stupid ad started the show. Anyhow, Kansas State turning in. They held Baylor to 31 in the first half and 23 in the second half. That defense for Kansas State, their offense has not been as electric as it was.
That doesn't make sense.
A year ago.
31 and 23 is 54, not 64.
Yeah, 10 in overtime.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But the point being, like 31 in 20 minutes and then 23 in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Kansas State's defense is very, very good. Offensively, they're struggling.
Baylor at 33% from the field, 18% from three.
Yeah.
Oof. Rough night.
So, Kansas State, one of those teams that looked like they were going to be in the middle, off to a good start. And then the other game on Tuesday night, a pretty important one for Cincinnati as BYU gets rolling. They even their record up at 2-2 in the league. They beat Iowa State, who's number 24. They beat them 87-72. Pretty dominant second half for BYU as they pull away. So that's a good one for BYU to kind of get their mojo back.
And they did all of that without Trevin Nell.
Yeah. And then Wednesday night, Texas Tech walked into a buzzsaw. Houston had lost 2 in a row on the road. They were coming back home. They were not in a good mood, and they smoked Texas Tech 77-54. They outscored them in the first half 38-29, and then in the second half 39-25.
Houston shot 52% from the field in this game. Good Lord.
Yeah, that was a Houston team that was a get right game for the Cougars. It wasn't going to matter, really. I don't think who they played on their home court after a 2-game losing streak. Those guys had not had a fun couple days with Kelvin Sampson getting ready for this game.
Shed scored 29.
He hit a nasty step back 3, just like a middle finger shot. It just hit the step back, held the form at the end of it, started talking shit to the camera after it went in. He was on one. He was on one.
So you'd say he was classless in the way that he handled that before we get into this next game? Because
we'll get into that one.
Act like you've been there before, right? You're not supposed to act like it's the national championship when you just win a game.
We'll get there in a second. Oklahoma 77-63 over West Virginia. A slow first half for Oklahoma. They scored 29, 48 in the second half to pull away. West Virginia, again, man, there's some talent there, but they cannot consistently figure it out. That's a team that is on the struggle bus right now.
Yeah, in Oklahoma, they're kind of rolling right now. I feel like against Iowa State in the first game that they played, they were a little boring. When I watched, nothing really stood out. And since then, they've been.
Well, TCU handled them pretty good.
I mean, they still have been good enough to keep 15.
I mean,
a rank of 15.
Oweh's really good. Uzan's really good. If you're a little more interested in some of the Oklahoma stuff, some really good analysis from Chris Lepore today in the breakdown. That you got that's a huge fly flying around your face.
Actually, just a very tiny little net. It's just right by the camera.
It was it got its close up right on the camera.
I saw.
Looked like a horsefly. That thing looked like a monster.
Nope. It's very tiny.
And then the game that you were talking about as UCF 2-2 with wins over Kansas and Texas, 77-71. Texas was up 44-32 at halftime. I believe they were up by as many as 12 in the second half, and then UCF storms back. They win the second half 45-27. Sellers with 24. What? Of course, the big kid had 7 points. The one that killed you.
Disu?
Yeah, Dylan Disu.
Yep.
7. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
That would have been
nice. Shit.
But horns down. You know what's classless? Cussing at a bunch of college players after
in the handshake line.
Yeah, that's classless.
What are you doing? I understand. It gets under your skin. I get it.
Don't have a hand sign.
That's the point, right? Like that's the whole point. Is all right, cool. You're not flicking them off. It's
right.
You're not giving double birds like the kid from NC State did to the referee the other night, which was hilarious. Hilarious. But you're just doing this, man. Like it's not a big deal. It's not planting a flag on your 50-yard line. You're not
love that too.
You're not, pulling the like I'm taking a leak on the field goal post or anything. Like the dog, pretending to be a dog taking a leak on the field goal post. What are we doing?
Texas is like somebody put up today, the Alabama fans killed these trees at Auburn that are like these sacred like pieces of Auburn tradition, and an Alabama fan poisoned them, and they had to cut them down. They were like 130 years old. This is stuff that goes on in the SEC. Texas ain't ready for the SEC. If horns down triggers them that much, oh boy. I fear what's going to happen to them next year. I don't know if Texas got the memo when they agreed to go to the SEC, but somebody should let them know that in the SEC it means more.
Well done. That was good.
Thank you. They're in for a rude awakening if UCF basketball,
which, by the way, down. They're only going to play them at home this one, or it wasn't even at home, was it? No, it was at
Texas. Yeah,
they're only going to get to play them like one time, maybe twice. I don't know if they play them a second time, but this is the only season they're going to play them. Let them have their fun with it and move on. It's UCF. They have like 7 years of tradition. So like settle down.
He gets so worked up about it. All right, Saturday. Let's take a look at the weekend, Aaron. There's a lot.
There is.
Baylor at Texas. Both teams coming off a loss. Both teams did not look good. So that one is going to be interesting.
I don't
UCF. What's that?
I think Baylor runs away with it. I don't think it's even going to be close. I don't think it's going to be interesting.
Okay. I mean, Texas they're disrespected, Aaron. They're mad. Somebody horns down them.
They should actually be embarrassed by their coach, and the fact that UCF's coach had to apologize as well. Oh, we stand for class. Well, I can't believe my guys were doing bullshit. Stand up for your guys.
It was funny as Mo put a picture of one of the Texas players grabbing his nuts and like screaming at the Cincinnati crowd when they won here. Like, oh yeah, well our guys are super classy.
The epitome of class. Yeah.
Yeah. That you know what's worse than horns down? Grabbing your nuts and screaming profanities at a student section.
Or cussing at the kids who just won a game.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Anyhow. So now you're just going to pick against Texas every game, aren't you?
Get hooked.
UCF at Houston. UCF is playing well. They've beaten Kansas. They've beaten Texas. I don't. The only thing that's different here is at least UCF is familiar with Houston's physicality. They'll at least be ready for it. I don't think they have enough offense to beat them.
Here's the thing, though. Houston's actually getting called on their fouls. They had 15 in the this last game that they won.
Oh, it's been happening all 4 Big 12 games.
And I think they finally have. The refs are seeing what we already knew, and they're calling it. So I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked at this point if UCF upsets Houston.
2 more teams, 2 ranked teams coming off a loss. Iowa State at TCU. That's going to be interesting.
Interesting.
That might be the game of the day. I mean, there's one other one that's going to be interesting from a standings perspective, but that's going to be the game I think to really keep an eye on.
I know we don't put a whole lot of faith into the ESPN analytics, but ESPN analytics gives Iowa State a 50.9% chance to win this game and TCU a 49.1% chance to win this game. So I imagine that the spread is not going to be very much either, and it's going to be a coin flip type game until
Yep.
it goes live, and then who knows where the spreads go.
Kansas at West Virginia. That is not going to be pretty for the ears.
Unless they can pull one off at home, maybe Kansas actually traveling outside of the Midwest gets under their skin. Do you know how hard it is to
get in and out of Morgantown?
Yeah. But
I'm going to break this stupid thing. And then we have BYU at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
That one's fascinating as well. That's a 6:00 tip on ESPN2. I mean,
that's another
Texas
one.
Tech, yeah.
ESPN's analytics giving BYU a 50.9% chance to win this game, and Texas Tech a 49.1% chance to win this game.
I'm all in on watching that one Saturday evening. Maybe as we're doing a live nightcap or something.
The only other game going on that could potentially interrupt that is the next one, which is Oklahoma State at Kansas State, which tips off an hour after the BYU Texas Tech game.
Kansas State will smack Oklahoma State at home. I don't have any.
At home, yeah, probably.
So, all right, there you go. That's what the week looked like, what the weekend looks like. And we will take tomorrow off, and then Saturday, late afternoon, early evening, sometime in that window. Hopefully, we will be back here live talking about the Bearcats' second consecutive Big 12 win as they take on the Oklahoma Sooners at 1:00 at Fifth Third Arena. That's the nightcap. We'll see you next time. Brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.